Heavy rainfall across New South Wales swamped roads in Trundle on Wednesday, September 7. Flood warnings remained in effect for parts of New South Wales on Thursday, including Bogan River and Lachlan River. This footage shows the flooding in Trundle. Credit Instagram Katie Worsfold. Residents today took shelter at Forbes High School where says crews were spearheading efforts to limit the damage being done to homes. But some long-term residents in the heart of the town decided not to evacuate as they wait to see how high the water rises today. This also comes following reports some residents want to stay on their properties to protect them from looters. State Emergency Service Deputy Commissioner Mark Mauro said the river is most likely to exceed 10.6 meters at some stage tomorrow. Forbes is the main area of concern, with another 5 to 15 millimeters of rain predicted for tomorrow, he said. Spirits were high as neighbors helped sandbag properties on the waterline while children rode through the streets in kayaks. The Lachlan River is set to peak at 10.65 meters by midday, at which point the town will be split into 3 regions, all isolated from each other. Some parts of town have already been hit harder than the 2012 floods, and residents fear the water could reach levels recorded in 1990 which nearly drowned the entire town. If the Lachlan River exceeds 10.6 meters, it exceeds the 1990 flood and it is highly likely it could become a flood of record for the Forbes. Quote, Mr. Morrow said. At New South Wales Police and at New South Wales are working together to aid evacuations due to flooding in Forbes, New South Wales. https T.co 61 xb5 nanojoules 4p4 https T.co Baxamfra. Police warned residents to leave their homes before 5 p.m., as roads were likely to become congested later in the afternoon. The warning comes as there are reports of some residents who want to stay within the town to protect their property against looters. Police wanted to allay these concerns. To combat the flood, the SES have brought in extra people. The RFS are assisting with door knocks, and the New South Wales Police are providing a 24-hour service at the local police station. Despite the fact that Forbes is experiencing a fine blue ski day, the police reminded residents that while there is no rainfall yet, it is on its way. While it is still a case of the unknown, the flooding is dependent on local rainfall and water levels within Wyangla Dam. Paramedics spent the afternoon door-knocking the neighborhood to make sure elderly residents had been evacuated. Radio stations were also told to broadcast an emergency message warning people to grab important belongings and meet at evacuation centers, clasping a rake in one hand and a stubby of beer in the other. Nigel McKeon, 41, said the water rose rapidly outside his home in just 30 minutes. It came out of nowhere and rushed through the driveway to the front of the house, he said. Council makes us build pretty high so we might be all right, but if we go completely under, I guess we'll have some cleaning to do. It is pretty bad timing because we were going to host a birthday party for my wife tonight. Water surrounds Bernard Webber's Condobolin property and his business is bleeding $15.00 per day. But he believes he is one of the lucky ones. The 42-year-old earth mover has lived through at least 3 major floods in the Lachlan Shire and said this one is shaping up as the worst. Everyone is pretty good at dealing with it because we have been through the 1990 flood, the father of 3 said. Over the next few days will be a lot of very concerned people because there will most likely be houses damaged. I'm lucky that my home is 15 meters above the river. Floodwaters cut off access to Mr. Webber's 3 excavators, which are in high demand. Many homeowners have asked him to dig dirt and create a bank around their properties, something which he can't do. Since 2012 we have had plenty of warning that an event like this was coming, he said. A lot of people have taken advantage of that warning and have done something, while others have been complacent. Mr. Weber said flooded roads have prevented farmers from getting their livestock to market, an economic cost which he said will only spiral when the Lachlan River reaches record levels tomorrow. The damage to property will only add to the overall cost of the disaster. In the past 4 weeks the SES has conducted 100 flood rescues and responded to more than 2,000 requests for assistance. More than 100 properties at Hungary have been evacuated, with 170 people impacted by that evacuation. It is the third evacuation for the tiny town in 3 months. Wagga Beach Caravan Park, which is an isolated section on the Murrumbidgee River, has been ordered to evacuate. In Forbes, up to 1,000 people are potentially affected by their evacuation order. There is a warning in place for North Forbes Road in Condobolin, which affects about 20 properties. The weather event which has caused this rainfall has been unusual, Deputy Commissioner Morrow said. It has been continual rain and the water does not drain, he said. The catchments are saturated. The water sits. You add another 20 millimeters of rain and it goes up another 20 millimeters. Some dams are at 130% capacity. Even though tomorrow, Sunday, is a big day in terms of the people of Forbes, it's unlikely that that water will fall for anywhere between 2 or 3 weeks. They won't be able to harvest any crop because the ground is too soft. Residents were again warned not drive through floodwaters. Despite some poor examples in recent days, the deputy mayor of one affected area had to be rescued after driving through floodwaters. A police vehicle was also filmed driving through floodwaters today. Do you live in the region? Send your photos to photo@dailytelegraph.com.au. Originally published as towns on high alert as floodwaters risks.